And I realized that the writing was on the wall. And it being a black event, there was some subtle racism in the whole thing as well. So rather than fight it and cry and or fool the festival, which
Shan and Tam fam, welcome back. We are still in lockdown, fam. And like Shan said in our previous episode, I am COVID out. But we are continuing to push through. Yes. We have for you again Anthony Plummer. He's an entrepreneur, a businessman, an educator, and a family man, and he's a personal family friend of mine. We're excited to hear the rest of his story. Stay tuned as we talk more with Anthony Plummer.
Next question. How was that transition for you in Canada? How was that?
it was
when you
rough.
finally came to Canada?
I tell people, when you migrate and come to Canada, it's almost like you're basically a tree transplanting. You shed all of those leaves and you have to put down roots and new leaves. The first 3 years, it was horrible. It was me alone.
Wow.
I had a girlfriend at the time. We were living together in Jamaica. I had my parents, I had football to go to on the weekends, Wednesday, Saturday or Wednesday, Sunday. So there was a routine. But coming to Canada, especially in Christmas, and those dreary Christmas songs, I'll be home for Christmas. Those songs would make a big man cry. I'm telling you.
Trust me, we know it.
Who feels it knows it.
I'm telling you. So, it was rough. My aunt lived here since 76. My cousins are here. But my cousins, the two boys who I grew up with in Jamaica, we tend to my grandparents' animal. They left shortly after I came for Silicon Valley because they're in the IT industry and they haven't returned. So I had to now, fend for myself.
For yourself, yes.
Where I came the week after Caravana. So I asked my uncle at the time, so what's this to be done? He said, man, you're late. You're coming, everything finished. I said, really? So I said, nothing here is here. He said, yeah, there's a little Greek festival up the road. Things have been done for, we can't go there. I said, Greek food? Well, I'm doing a jerk chicken food. He said, no. And being that person who was, I guess, searching for something to latch on to.
Right.
Yes.
I remember seeing or hearing about JerkFest in Boston JerkFest.
Yes.
The idea popped in my mind because I always wanted to lead football in Olympic Garden. A tough community. Not I didn't love it, but I figure more or less it was getting too hard to handle and people threatening you and all kind of stress. And I want to do something for me now where I could probably one day earn $1 from it because this was all voluntary and people appreciate what I was doing.
Right.
But the idea came into my mind, to start the festival.
Right. So that was actually our next question in terms of what really motivated you to start the festival, and what were the early years like for you?
So going to the motivation was a sense of wanting to do something, to fill that void. Right? Living here and missing home and missing my routine. I figured it would be a great distraction. I figured it would be a place because me and one of the gentlemen who started, we had this notion, we're going to become famous. We're going to find so many girls.
Okay.
So the girls and the famous part of it is what helped to propel us because we wanted to do this.
You are still very young, right?
Yes, man. I was 31, ready to mingle, you understand? So
mingle and ready, single and ready to mingle?
Yes. So we sat out and we started, and I'm telling you, I always had the feeling and deep down inside that Jamaican food is one of the best food in the world.
Absolutely.
Call me biased, but our food is nice.
We are
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the best.
Understand? I don't say it to disrespect any other culture and their food,
No,
but I know
of
that
course
our
not.
food. People ask me, "What's your favorite Jamaican dish?" I can't tell them. I don't have one. I have a handful.
Right.
Yes.
It all depends on the mood I'm in. I will, and because I'm a foodie, I basically learned to cook very early. Because I want good food and I don't want somebody who basically, as I see online, give me bun and cheese or burger and bread. I want to get my real Jamaican
food. No, I hear you. I hear you, Anthony.
I can attest to the fact that he can cook.
Listen,
No, I know. I've had his food. I've had your food.
Listen.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, I knew that what better way to bring people together than food, full and belly, and good music in a family atmosphere. So we started the festival, and because it was new, it was never done before, it was tough, the early years.
Right.
But I know that if we stuck with it long enough, it will catch on. And I always tell my friends when I look back at the early days, it was like a virus. The 5 person who came one year and they enjoyed themselves, then bring 10 more person along with them. And it kept on spreading and spreading and spreading.
Right.
And it started to take hold and turn for the better back in 2006.
Okay.
The late Dennis Drones brought Air Jamaica Day to Gage Park in Brampton.
Yes.
And we were in Chincoosy Park in Brampton.
Yes, I remember that year.
And we decided to do some guerrilla marketing at Air Jamaica Day. We were put up sign of JerkFest every single entrance and exit at Gage Park, and assemble a team of volunteers, and we gave out flyers left, right, and center. Every cars in the vicinity, parking garage, back street, side street, we took care of them.
Right.
And that crowd, it being summer, came out in record numbers.
Amazing.
To the parking lot we were in at Chincoosy Park. As I look at photos, you could see people pressing against the stage. It was like a sardine can.
Yes.
I asked a photographer was there because we couldn't even afford a photographer to look out in the crowd and take a few pictures for me. And when I look at those pictures, it's just a sea of people. And of course, that year, those people enjoyed themselves. It was safe, no violence.
Right.
They left and they came back the next year with even more people.
Right.
That it happened that in 2007 that the park said to us, listen, this thing is causing too much mayhem on the weekend of the festival.
Really? It's too
people
now.
People can't park.
Oh wow.
People getting blocked in their driveway by the patrons who could not find parking.
Okay.
You need to find a different park. And if you don't find a different park, it's going to cost you X amount of money. And I realized that the writing was on the wall. And it being a black event, there was some subtle racism in the whole thing as well. So rather than fight it and cry or fold the festival, which probably is what they wanted based on some of the conversation I had with some of the officials. We decided to carry it to Centennial Park, our current home.
Okay.
Toronto is a bit more diverse.
Yes.
Multicultural city. They used to having these large events. We found that Rib Fest held annually inside Centennial Park. And being an eye for details, a person's eye for details, where I went and I looked and I saw they were wasting the space. Because they do it at Rib Fest, they close off the hill. And the crowd was at the bottom. I said, no, I want the hill for people to run and to sit on and make it be an amphitheater style where they're up on the hill watching and eating their chicken along the side. And then at the foot of the hill, now you can have the stage.
Right.
You ever come to JerkFest, you notice that's how it lay out.
Yes.
Right? And we did that. But the first couple of years there was not easy either.
Oh, wow.
The rain lashed us left, right, and center.
Yeah.
I remember the first year, 2008, it rained from the start 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. If we were in Noah's Ark, we wouldn't know the difference. If we're in the park, how much rain was on the
all
ground.
day. Mercy.
The agony on the vendor's face. And we learned our lesson from that experience. And that was the last year we had a one-day festival. We decided to going forward.
Yes, and you know what, that's interesting, Anthony, because you made mention of so many points. You know, even now when we look at it, starting and maintaining a business in the Black community, it's difficult, right? And you have a successful business. You've spoken about a few of the obstacles in terms of the venue and competing with other festivals. Can you speak on any other obstacles that you had to overcome between you and your team to have such a successful business that you have today?
Financing, funding. Being a new startup, the companies did not believe in the venture initially.
Yes.
It was hard. We had to go in our pocket. The vendors have been the backbone, I must say, quite frankly, looking back over the years. The vendors sign on and they basically pay their vending fee, and with the vending fee and with the little sponsorship we had, we basically were able to dip in our pocket and make up the money and do what we had to do.
Right.
My relationship with Admiral Bailey helped me to negotiate with him to come.
Yes.
He has been to the festival at least 4 times over the years.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was a personal friend of mine and he gave us a break with the price. And, we know that he would be able to entertain the crowd because he's somewhat comical, and it helped. But it was one which is late nights, lot of beseeching, lot of cutting corners, one person doing 10 persons jobs, right? It was rough, but I always believed that better days were coming.
Amen. And it's a testimony now, right? Because now you can say that JerkFest have gone through the worst and look at where you are right now. How does it feel like? Yes. How does it feel like now to know that you have such a festival where you have international artists coming and you have it now over an entire weekend? How do you feel now?
It feels surreal.
Okay.
It feels surreal. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Sometimes I wish, and I keep talking about it, I could put up a time capsule camera. Because when you see Centennial Park, those of you know Centennial Park, we get nothing there apart from the ground.
Yes. You have to put everything in there.
We bring in the fencing, the toilets, the mobile stage, the tents, the vendors, the security guard, the police come. And then at the end, all that have to leave and have to get the cleaners to clean it throughout. After each day, the cleaners work tirelessly each night, right? The teamwork, packing. Shan, Tam, I'm telling you, by the time we finish work, you would want to sleep all 5 days afterward because you're tired and popped down.
I can imagine, because it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work.
And now, this year, 2021, our 20th anniversary, we said it's full time this kid of mine, quote unquote, be weaned and become independent and can stand on its own 2 feet. Awesome. And that is why we are currently talking with our sponsors to say, listen, it's not easy to be around for 20 years.
Right.
It's not easy to be one of Ontario's top 100 festivals since 2011. We try to be organized. We try to be on time. What we promise, we deliver. So give us our credit.
Absolutely.
That you've reached the 20th year. That's a milestone.
It is.
From all the struggles that you've gone through over the years, and I'm sure that you encounter issues each year.
Listen. All of my previous experience have served me well to this point.
Right.
My degree I did in Jamaica have taught me that you need to have a SWOT analysis, a review at the end. What strengths you had.
Yes.
What weaknesses you had, what opportunities are there, what threats are there. So every year we go back with the team and we look at these, and there's been some great, make the record be selling the record. We've had some great help over the years from some great persons who have contributed. The festival started first under my personal company, Island Promotions.
Okay.
Limited, Incorporated. And then I gave it over to a not-for-profit that is run out of now, known as Caribbean Promotions.
Okay.
I was once the president. I've stepped back. I'm now the executive director.
Okay.
Right? And there's an independent board that I report to. And then I put together each year a management team who helps to really drive it forward.
Right.
So these are some of the change. We realize just relying on volunteer only couldn't cut it.
Right.
So with government funding, right, with more sponsorship, give thanks to Grace.
Yes.
Right, give thanks to TD. Western Union was there in the early years. They have not been with us the last 3-4 years, but they were one of the first company looking back who signed on, who saw the merit in what we were doing. Right? And of course, vendors go and vendors come, but without the vendors.
Right.
And of course, the patrons, they couldn't do what we are doing. And then let me say this about the patrons. It wasn't always easy, you know. Again, just out of review, we learned a lot. Because in 2015, we started, 2016, thereabout, we started our gated festival. Because before then, it was free. Because City of Toronto did not allow you up to that point to charge to get into an event, Oland Parklands. But we realized that in order to grow the festival, you have to give to Caesar what is due to Caesar.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So what the city did, they have 2 different tiers, a commercial rate that costs a lot of money, but it gave us the freedom now to charge patrons at the gate to try and offset some of our costs, because would you believe it? There are other events who will happen in the same space in the park there alongside us at different times. And those companies will give those events a whole boatload of money. When you go to those same companies, they tell you, sorry, they have the money for you. So we have to find ways to be creative, to cover our costs, at the same time bring out the crowd in such a number, in their numbers, to really impress the sponsors so they want to stay and believe in what we do. So we have this low model where we gave between 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, persons pay a toonie to get into the festival. They can't beat that.
Okay. You have to be creative.
Of course. We realize that our people not like the sun. They're not coming out. That's
they're
one.
not coming out early at all.
No, they're not coming there like vampires. You're crazy. And the next thing we also found is that there are 2 different demographics that we serve. There are the foodies. All they want is to soak up and eat up all the good Jamaican goodness.
Yes.
You could have Bob Marley and the Wailers playing on stage. I'm not busy with that. And just want
the food.
And if the price is not the right, they're not going to come.
Right.
So with us having that toonie special, we find a lot of the Caucasian folks and other nationalities pass through and get their fix. And as the sun started cool now, the 3 o'clock, the 4 o'clock, you see all Caribbean folks rolling in.
The party people.
The party start.
Yes.
Yes.
We did the research. I brought Dexadap 2019, and it was the first year at the close of the gates of the park, because the police said, listen, Anthony, it's now 9:30, and you say it closes at 10:30. Look at the line. The line, no kidding. It was like going back out to Renfort Road.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. And it's, the patrons, like you said, along with the vendors and everybody else who help, they're the backbone in terms of helping to drive the festival each year. So, looking at the response over the years, what do you think the festival means to the community at large?
It means a lot in terms of, it gives us a sense of pride, something to look forward to that is our own, a sense of place where we are belonging, where we can come and connect together and share values. Not many events you have around town that Caribbean folks can go and gather, and we can celebrate the arts and craft, celebrate the food,
food.
music,
Yes.
outdoor, just being relaxed in a safe environment, a family environment. And JerkFest is that to a number of persons in the community.
Absolutely.
People use a festival and its space for family reunion.
Okay.
Before COVID break, a
Yeah.
guy reached out to me from Boston. He was planning to bring 340 persons.
Oh,
What?
He wanted
wow.
me to arrange tickets for them,
Yes.
special tent, right, hotel, and all that. And I'm hoping that he's safe and his family are safe, and we can actually get a chance to do it.
To do it, yes.
2022, So it means a lot to different persons.
Yes. 20th is a big milestone, right? It's a big milestone. I know that you're probably beaming with excitement. So in midst of COVID right now, what is the plan for your 20th celebration?
The plan is to pivot once again to a virtual event.
Okay.
Last year, we didn't know anything about virtual event, but we had to learn fast.
Yes.
So last year was like a test run, a successful run.
Yeah.
We had for our 19th anniversary, our first virtual festival. We were Beanie Man,
Yes.
out of Jamaica. JerkFest, young sensation Leela Ike, and Alison Hines, the Queen of Soca. They all headlined our virtual event last year, and from the response, along with a host of local artists.
Right.
And from the response, it was well received, especially during COVID. People were at home not doing anything. They said JerkFest did not abandon them.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
All right, thank you. Grace and us partnered on the Grace JerkFest Care, and we were able to raise money alongside food that we donated to 3 food banks across the city: Night Table, North York Harvest Food Bank, and another one, the names momentarily, over in Scarborough. Right? We were able to give them over $3,500 worth of food each.
That's amazing.
Along with money, with cash that we raised online. So we're hoping to really build on those successes that we had last year. And once again, to celebrate our milestone, look back. There's a little snippet of tease here. Look back at where we're coming from, but also look ahead, right? As we celebrate our 20th anniversary, albeit online.
Nice. So what's next for you, the person and the businessman? What's next for Anthony Plummer?
I want to just live in the moment, Shan.
Yes.
Enjoy. I pray that God will give me long life, good health, to really see my kids have a prince, Jordan, my son, only boy.
Yes.
And 3 princesses.
Yeah.
They're triplet girls. They're
triplets.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are 8 this year, Savannah, Layla, and Nia.
Wow.
And I just want God to just grant me his grace to really live to see them past the worst. And I, outside of doing the festival, I'm a high school teacher. I just want to basically keep on helping to do my part in nation building and shaping young minds, because people help me to really be where I am today by being a source of inspiration, guide them, try and impart whatever subject I'm teaching them as best as I can, and just enjoy life, because COVID have taught us anything, if nothing else, that life is short, life is precious.
Absolutely,
Anthony.
We see so many persons around us dropping like flies, and we are here, so we have to give thanks and not take anything for granted. Right. So for me, I just want to basically lead a team, continue to lead a team. I have a great team in place who can we can actually shake things up a bit, bring some new and innovative things when we're back in the park.
Right.
Yes.
So patrons can feel that we're not taking them for granted, but we're also looking to always improve.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And just keep on giving back where I can give back. Give advice, a word of comfort. If I may use this platform to tell persons, once you have an idea, I see you guys, you've started this program, and I'm looking at what you're doing from a week in, week out basis, and I'm saying, keep going.
Yes.
You start today, and if you stick with it long enough, and keep tweak as you see fit.
Yes.
Looking back, you'll be looking back like me with God's help, And you can say, well, I remember when I did that.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, I still look back today at where we started out. And I have to pinch myself at times, especially when the festival is alive and popping on the weekend. And there's so much people. And I'm like, wow, this is what I had always envisioned. But I didn't know it would have really reached this level and surpassed my expectation in terms of how much persons look at it and come up to it. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that encouragement.
Yes.
You know,
you're welcome.
And it's one of the things that we also wanted to speak about, just to anybody out there who's watching. I mean, Shan said earlier, it's not how you start, you know, it's how you finish.
Absolutely, that's correct.
It's difficult sometimes for you to see beyond the difficulties that you're experiencing. But what would you say to someone who, you know, didn't have the easiest life or start, but they want to kind of move beyond their situation and to make big moves? What type of encouragement would you give to that person?
One of my favorite mentor that I listen to and I draw strength from his words of encouragement and advice, Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey have a thing where he says that sometimes you have to just jump. I would say to any young persons, do your homework, right? Pray about it. Can't leave prayer out of it. I remember in the past, because JerkFest is an outdoor event, and the rain, we are susceptible to the rain. 11 o'clock, the sky black like midnight, and rain a clap left lightning like crazy.
Yes.
And my wife and I hold held on, I remember, and we said, Lord, you don't bring us this far to leave us alone.
Yes.
Please hold up this rain, because there's no way we can have a festival. And by time 12:30 rolls around, ladies, it was bright, sunshine outside, the rain clouds rolled away, and the festival was ready. By 3 o'clock, you look back, only a little soft earth here.
Only God.
Yes, only
God.
Yes.
So I say to them, pray about it, put in God's hand, do your homework, and you have to have that inner conviction and drive, because there are going to come times when basically you feel like giving up. And you have to basically dig deep to push yourself. There are going to be naysayers who tell us, boy, this can't be done, never been done before. They told me that. Today, look at us. We are the oldest jerk festival in North America. The first and only one outside of Jamaica. And I'm proud of that.
What an accomplishment.
Yes.
Right?
That
so
is.
You have to just keep pressing.
Right.
Keep tweaking, keep learning, keep growing. Because out of every experience, you know, there's a lesson.
Yes, absolutely.
And you have to basically take them for what they're worth. Not look at the glass as half empty, but half full.
Yes.
And keep thinking that there'll be a better tomorrow, a better day. Just keep pushing, keep growing, keep learning.
That's amazing.
Thank you. What's next for JerkFest, Anthony?
We want to do a lot more for our local entertainers. We want to do a lot more for our vendors, small entrepreneurs. A great number of them don't know how to be professionals. They don't know how to organize themselves, especially for a large-scale event, to take advantage and make money. So we want to basically now pivot a bit more to workshops so we can inform and educate these stakeholders. And hopefully we can make a difference in their lives, and they can see what it takes to be successful in whatever craft they're doing, because it can be done.
Yes.
Other communities are making these bold moves and reaping the rewards. Why can't they do the same?
Yeah.
As we celebrate 28th and we're looking back, I was trying to find one vendor who has been with us for almost the entire journey. I know which vendor I found. The corn vendor.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I can tell you on two hands and probably more how many food vendors are caterers who started out, who are not in the business anymore today.
Right.
It's a tough business, a food business.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And a number of them who are going to embark on it need to understand what it needs to be done, what are some of the things they need to consider and plan for, right? Because I've seen it. We try to educate a number of them, right? Some listen and are doing well, and some don't, and to their own device. So we want to basically do a lot more of that and actually keep things fresh. Look for ways we can be more interactive with our patrons when they come out to the festival, to learn and to be inspired and to really feel as if, you know, they're back home with some of the authentic products that people bring out to the event that they can actually buy and take back home.
Wow. Wonderful, Anthony. You know what? We applaud you. You're such a go-getter. Like your story in Jamaica, your transition here, and everything you had to overcome. You know, we applaud you, and we just want to say big congratulations for achieving your 20th as a successful businessman and trailblazer. Like we love to see this and to support each other within our Black community. And, you know, just to say to the Shan and Tam fam, as Anthony said, you know, write the vision, claim it, pray, and don't give up. Just if you have to pivot, you have to pivot. But thank you so much, Anthony. It was truly a blessing to meet you virtually.
Yeah.
Hopefully in person soon.
I'm gonna hold you guys to that.
Absolutely. You'll see me at JerkFest, man. Trust me. Whenever you're back out, definitely I'll come out to support. And you see, Shan and Tam fam, it can be possible. It doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. And absolutely. Anthony Plummer is a testament of that. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being with Tam and I today.
Thank you. It was all mine, and thank you, Liz, for having me once again.